Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to talk about a brand new animated film made by Disney and Pixar. Obviously I am going to talk about Hoppers. Hoppers is an upcoming American animated science fiction comedy film produced by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures. Written and directed by Daniel Chong, the film stars the voices of Piper Curda, Bobby Moynihan and John Hamm. Its story follows a girl named Mabel, whose mind is transferred into a robotic beaver in order to communicate with animals. And the tagline goes as follows: human dot nature dot. And I think that's really cool. Anyway, so Hoppers is this brand new Disney slash Pixar collaboration film, right? The film will follow a girl named Mabel. The first thing that I thought of when I read that description, I immediately thought of Gravity Falls for some reason. Man, dude, I love Gravity Falls, and I was like, holy shit, is Mabel going to make herself into a beaver? But obviously it's not a Gravity Falls related film. Although it could be. I mean, they would literally cash in, right, if it were to be like a Gravity Falls kind of film, because that's something like that Mabel would do of that series. Obviously the main character of Gravity Falls, is also called Mabel. And yeah, no, it's something that I really immediately thought of, but it is not. So Hoppers releases March 6th, right? We also have this new trailer that gives us more information and also more looks at the characters and also the story. So like I said, this is written and directed by Dano Chong, produced by Nicole Paradis Grindle, starring Piper Curda, Bobby Moynihan and John Hamm. Production company Pixar Animations, distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Release date is 6th of March 2026, and obviously it's a country of origin United States with the language English. So, Chong began working on a new original film at Pixar in December 2020. The film was first officially announced as Hoppers in August 2024, along with Kurda, Moynihan, and Jam revealed as part of the cast. Hoppers is scheduled to be released in theaters in the United States on March 6th. 2026. So after a group of scientists invent a way for human brains to inhabit mechanical bodies, Mabel Tanaka uses their technology to embody a realistic robot beaver and thwart a construction company's plot to destroy the local animal habitat. Okay, this is something that I would love to see, obviously, with the Disney and Pixar films, right? Right now, they're not really doing great. And obviously, Elio was a big box office flop, which was quite unfortunate. And obviously all the other films before that, like Luca, that film released on obviously the streaming platform during the COVID-19 pandemic. We also had Turning Red, which was also a film that not a lot of people saw. Soul was a film that I really admired, so that I really liked, obviously with that jazz, right? That's that film, right? Yeah, hopefully I'm not mixing titles here, but yeah, Soul was a great film. And obviously Coco was also that film that a lot of people still saw, but it's not really talked about too much, right? Which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, let's talk about the voice casting, because I think this film could be the salvation of Disney and Pixar's collaboration, right? So Piper Curda as Mabel Tanaka, an animal-loving girl whose mind is transformed into a robotic beaver. Bobby Moynihan as King George, a beaver monarch that rules the animal kingdom. John Hamm as Mayor Jerry, a greedy mayor, right? Dimitri Martin as Bird. So there are no other information there. So in December 2020, Dano Chong revealed on Twitter that he returned to Pixar following the completion of his Cartoon Network television series We Bare Bears. Oh, that's interesting. And the release of We Bare Bears the movie 2020. And that he was working on an original feature film. At D23 fan event in August 2024, Pixar's chief creative officer Pete Docter announced that the film would be titled Hoppers. Shortly after, Jesse Andrews revealed on X, formerly Twitter account, that he had been working on the film for 3 years. As part of the film's announcement at D23, the cast was announced, and obviously the cast was announced as being part in the film. In December 2024, The Hollywood Reporter stated that, according to a former Pixar artist, the filmmakers were told to downplay the film's planned message of environmentalism. However, in July 2025 interview with Screen Rant, Chong denied that the film's themes were censored, stating, "If anything, I felt a lot of alignment. The honest truth about the process, though, is that every movie here goes through so much iterations and changes a lot." And I can see, maybe to some other people's eyes within the studio, how they might see that it looks like things are being censored, but really the movie is just going through its natural course of iteration and stuff, at least for our movie. Really interesting that every incarnation, every single iteration of like a specific film that releases has been through so many process changes, right? That's so interesting to see. So a first look image of the film was publicly shown at the 2025 NSC International Animation Film Festival in June 2025. Obviously, the NSC International Animation Film Festival took place from 8th to 14th of June 2025 in Annecy, France. Annecy, I think it's pronounced Annecy, but I'm not quite sure. Unlike previous editions, the festival opened with the world premiere of a selection of 5 shorts instead of a single feature-length film. These shorts were 9 Million Colors by Bara Anna, Carcassonne Acapulco by Marjorie Cope, and Olivier Hera, La Vie avec un idiot by Theodore Ishev Black from the anthology series Star Wars Visions. Oh, that's interesting. By Sheena O'Hara, and The Girl Who Cried Pearls by Chris Levis and Mikek Szyberdowski. I think hopefully I pronounced that name right. But yeah, French film Arco, directed by Hugo Benvenu, won the Crystal for Best Feature Film, while Canadian film Endless Cookie, directed by Seth Scriver and Peter Scriver, received the Contrechamp Grand Prix. That's really interesting. So this year's complete Annecy International Animation Film Festival lineup was announced on the 23rd of April 2025. Alongside the films for each section, special presentations of upcoming projects were also announced. These include works from various film studios such as Sony Pictures, DreamWorks, Paramount, obviously Netflix, the big distributors of like big animation films, right? Disney, like I said, with obviously this Hopper film, right? So yeah, there we go. A first official look, like I said, was announced on the 2025 NSC International Animation Film Festival. Later that month, a short teaser featuring a lizard repeatedly typing the lizard emoji into a phone played in theaters after the end credits of Pixar's Elio. That's interesting. Alright, yeah, no, I think this film hopefully is going to be good. Like, it looks like the film will be so much fun. And yeah, no, I think obviously we'll need to wait and see, because obviously all the other films that came before Hoppers were not really that successful box office wise. Maybe later on down the line with the streaming platforms they become more powerful and I guess more popular, right? Like obviously a lot of people still talk about I think like Luca was a big hype when it releases, but obviously that, you know, downgraded, which was quite unfortunate. And yeah, we also had obviously Coco. I think that's one of the most beautiful films ever made from Disney, and I really like that Latin American culture there that was being represented. And I think obviously if you go back to the old Disney films, you have these 2D animated films, and people always say, well, people nowadays say that the 2D animation films are coming back, which is quite interesting. I think that is a rather interesting thing to think about, because you know, when the 3D animations don't work, they go back to the 2D animations, but they stopped doing 2D animations because people wanted 3D animations. So are they in a repeatedly bigger loop here, or I'm not quite sure. Like, I love films. I'm going to watch them eventually when they, when I have the availability to watch them, right? But I'm just scared for Disney and Pixar, and obviously other films, but mostly Disney and Pixar, because that's the biggest problem of their franchise, or at least like studio. The animation films don't succeed that well anymore, and that's quite unfortunate, because when you watch a film, for like animation, right? I think most of the people need to watch it. It's not only a children's film, it needs to be like an adult film too. The underlying themes need to be for adults too. Like, we also had like one of those films that I really like is like Mulan. That film is really like tough and hard, right? It's about a girl trying to fight her way through the Chinese world there. But dude, it's about like massacre of, it's like about death. It's like it's a really tough film, right? And that needs to be like the I think the driving force of a Pixar and Disney film. It needs to be for people all over the world, obviously, and all over the ages, right? It needs to be for children, but also for adults. Just like Toy Story. Toy Story is so much fun, and I think a lot of people really regard that film as one of the best animated films ever made by like the Disney and Pixar studios there. And I really like that film. It's a really, really nice film. And obviously now we have those sequels, those reboots that they're trying to do. Obviously, I think mostly with the American film industry, like they want sequels after sequels after sequels. Like Inside Out 2, now they're making Inside Out 3, they're making The Incredibles 3, they're making a Ratatouille 2. Like, dude, why should we need to buy the tickets to see a sequel for a film that worked on its own, right? It's a bit of a paradoxical thing to think about, but I really like that they're making sequels. But how much more can you tell if the first film, the original film, really worked? Like Ratatouille, I don't know how you can make a sequel to that. It's really tough and hard, right? Maybe the rats go all over the world and try to see the different cuisines all over the world. That's interesting. Well, it's something that I think about. And as a film fan myself, as a cinephile, dude, that sounds weird to say, but anyway, I think it's rather, it's, yeah, I don't know, like I love films, but I don't want to see like sequels after sequels. Like, you could make an entire franchise of like The Incredibles or Coco or dude, we should get an entire franchise of Brave. I think I would buy 1,000,000 tickets, but I think at the end of the day, people get bored and tired of the sequels too, so they might need to look out for that. But I think Hoppers maybe might break that box office I think problem there, but we need to wait and see. Obviously I can't really see into the future, which obviously is quite unfortunate, but but hey, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of this video, and I will check you later. Goodbye everyone.